the Chicago Bears Stadium in Madden 25. Guys, today we are no-clipping inside and outside of the Chicago Bears Stadium. This is one of the coolest stadiums usually in Madden, so it's absolutely awesome to do it today just because, again, they put a lot of detail in the Bears Stadium. I don't know why. Maybe it was actually, I want to say Caleb Williams, but this was before. I mean, they put this much detail in the stadium since, what, Madden 22? Which is crazy, too, because, again, that's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the first team on the list of teams. EA has some reasoning, okay? But, with that being said, one side is kind of bland tunnel. This is actually a lot cooler, and this always has this little thing at the end. They have doors where it just has the helmet with the Bears logo and gloves. That is so cool. They always have that in the Bears locker room for whatever reason in Madden. So I'm happy that they brought that back and they kept doing that. They should also have something cool in the other locker room over here. Now, the Bears are the first team we looked at so far in this series that does actually have 4 locker rooms total, four tunnels. They have 2 for the home and 2 for the away. And this one doesn't really have anything in here, so it's kind of bland. Alright, so with that being said, I was going to say, do we have anything at the bottom levels here? I'm going to double check this. Nope, we do not. We do have a little walk around area. And unlike the last stadium we looked at, the Ravens, which again is very bland when it comes to advertisements, this is your typical advertisements that we see in most Maddens. For whatever reason, what stadium was that? I think not the Chiefs Stadium. Lions Stadium. They had like specialized in advertisements and crap. Actually, no, I'm getting my stadiums confused. The Ravens had the specialized advertisements. The Lions Stadium has nothing. But we got like NTCE, Dawn to Dusk. That's supposed to be the tire company. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Wait, does that move? Hold up. No, it doesn't. Okay, so the texture, they just messed up that texture then. They just did not set that correctly when they were lining it up. That's kind of crazy. I have not seen a mess up from EA Sports yet when it comes to like them messing up a texture or anything. Usually they don't mess that up. Especially not when you can see it from the field. That's probably not a good look to have. But it is also EA Sports. So, of course, these little tunnels here do go ahead and go out to something. Other stadiums, they do not, sadly. So, it's kind of like a nothing burger. Now, this stadium, the reason why it's so cool is it has the Coliseum on the outside. So, it's a stadium inside a building, which is freaking dope as heck. This is because the last stadium, before this stadium was built, this was how the last stadium was built. So, it's a little bit of a, trip down memory lane here, as you could say. But going down here, cool. The fun fact here, so Madden 24 was the first Madden that really gave us a lot of people on the outside of the stadiums. Like Madden 22, Madden 23, there really wasn't anyone on the outside of the stadiums. Madden 24 went heavy when it came to, focusing on, this is so trippy, because the textures is just a reflection of a stadium. They don't actually have the correct textures on there. But as I was saying, though, Madden 24 was the first one where they really, truly went crazy when it came to presentation style. So there's people everywhere in Madden 24 on the outside of the stadium. Madden 22, Madden 23, that's not the case. So this one, it looks like kind of very similar to Madden 24. It's ironic how little EA kind of copied Madden 24, but at the same time they did. Like they didn't, but they also did copy it to a certain degree. Like the presentation style they did not copy. Soldier of Fear, dedicated to the men and women of the armed services. And you do have each of the little plaques, which really cool how much detail. Again, because nobody's ever going to see any of this. So this is just stuff that, kind of on the outside that nobody gets to see. We do have this little sign right here. We have 18th Street parking, Westgate, odd numbers, Northgate, Eastgate, and Bears tickets, and Will Cowie We'll call. Okay. We got the 2 flags. And the cool thing about this is they go crazy when it comes to detail for whatever reason in this stadium. And I think the reason why, again, is just because, oh, they added to this. Okay, hold up. I'm lost for words right now. If you saw my Madden 24 and Madden 23 series, you know that this was not detailed at all. Why did they add so much detail to this? You can't even see this, really. They really... Okay, well, the other side, don't ask about the other side. Don't ask about the other side, okay? The fun side, they added a lot of crazy detail. A lot of these textures, by the way, aren't 3D, complete 3D textures, so that is kind of the problem with that. And then we have this bad boy over here, which again is a lot more detailed than Madden 24. I think it's because this is the first stadium on the list of teams. That's the one thing I can think of, that they actually go hardcore on the detail for this stadium. And then the rest of the stadiums are like, we don't really care that much, do we? And here's what I'm talking about when I say detail, okay? There's a whole-on city down here. A full city and everything. Not the 2D texture, which is what we see for most times EA. Because most time with EA, they try to get away with just putting up a picture of a 2D texture. If you put it far enough back, you can actually get away with that. No, these are like actual 3D buildings. Well, almost 3D buildings. There are 3 of the 4 sides. Which is stupidly crazy that they actually go out of their way to do this. Because again, like I said before, it just doesn't need to happen. They could easily do what they're doing out there right there. So, before we go out there, actually, let's, I don't know what really is going on here. But if we go out here, right, let me show you this. So, this is how you can get away with stuff. This is called 2D textures. 2D textures, you got 1 dimension, 2 dimension, right? 3-dimensional is, you know, like a cube, that's 3-dimensional. This is a 2D texture, it's just a picture. But if you look at it from far enough distance, it looks like a real, actual, you know, thing. EA usually does this around the outside of the state, outside of the worlds, to kind of give that extra depth, which, you know, it works to a certain degree, right? It adds extra depth. And then they add in these cities buildings like this, which actually looks like actual buildings. They're 3-dimensional, which is, again, freaking dope because, again, they don't have to do this. Like, keep in mind, they're adding stuff over here. The stadium is all the way over there. You guys see the stadium, right? Let me put my mouse point on the screen. Hold up. This is the stadium right here where my mouse pointer is. That's the stadium. They're adding stuff over here, right? You're not ever in a million years going to see any of this stuff. EA Sports, they go stupid crazy when it comes to this. For some reason, the Bears Stadium every year. And it's funny that they added more detail to it. So it's like they already had a stadium that they had a really good detail on this map. This map is insane. But for some reason, they added more detail. Just imagine, we got more detail added to the Bears map in Madden 25 before we got GTA 6. Is that crazy or what? So that's all 2D texture, which you can see goes around the whole outline of this. Not whole outline, but a lot of it. But yeah, no, this is just, it's amazing, man. The amount of detail they put into this map for whatever reason. Again, for something that you're never going to see in a million years. And again, this is all different textures. That's the one thing that really always gets me, is they could just put the same textured buildings, and again, no one's going to care. They put different textures on all these buildings. They're different objects. And again, you make a lot of this in 3D graphic design, like you can make it in Blender, right? You can create worlds in Blender. I think Madden uses, I think they use the Unreal Engine, I believe, or the Frostbite engine, which is the same concept. You're creating little, you know, things and you're putting them in a world. It's crazy how much detail this one stadium gets every single year. And then they added on to that. Like, okay, let me see. Can you even, if you were maxed out from this, I guess maybe, yeah, I guess you could technically see, like, that building. So I guess it does make sense to add some detail to it. But not to a point that you need this. Like, this is insane. Having, like, the actual things right there, having this right here, this is stuff that you're not going to be able to see from the stadium. And again, none of this other stuff you're going to be able to see from the stadium. So, shout out to EA Sports. 1W. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.